So I mentioned this before, but this VC guy contacted me just out of the blue on LinkedIn. And to be honest, it seemed kind of shady. But I met with the firm, and it turns out there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I'm launching my business, and I'm going to document the process here on YouTube. Is it going to succeed? I sure hope it will. But if you hit the subscribe button, I guess we'll both find out. I'm going to go ahead and name them, since apparently they can't explain their business very well, so I'm going to go ahead and do it for them. They're called Kiwi Tech. Here's their website. And so they have like a startup program and a fund, and they're also an enterprise company. Yeah, I didn't know either. I mean, it seemed like all sorts of stuff going around. So, of course, what I did was I went ahead and Googled them. And they looked legit. I mean, they have links on, Crunchbase and LinkedIn, and then they have Glassdoor. I went here, and there's a bunch of guys from India talking about working there, and I'm like, okay. And then I also found out that they have a venture fund as well. So, and they apparently do some, demo days, too. So I was a bit confused. And, of course, my mind went to the most paranoid idea. I was like, they're going to take my idea and send it to their team in India, and they're going to copy it. And it was particularly, I was particularly nervous because the guy was like, we need to really understand your technology. I'm like, well, first of all, my technology is not that complicated. You can't view source and see it. But beside that, I got all paranoid about it. And then I talked to my cousin, who is a VC, and he's like, they're probably not going to copy it, but he was like, maybe they have a competitor in their portfolio, and they just want to analyze these, which is still kind of weird. I'm like, oh, there's a competitor, and it's all weird. And I didn't know what to think, because I was like, I'm a single founder, and I'm not seeking money, and so what the hell are they doing contacting me like this? It was weird. So I dug a little deeper and tried Kiwi Tech reviews. Just I don't know. And I found this page on Reddit. And I'm just going to go ahead and summarize this, but basically the guy said, oh, Kiwi Tech had contacted me, what are they about? And the guy replied, said, yeah, they're basically a dev shop, and they're trying to sell you on outsourced development. Well, that at least made more sense than anything I'd seen before. Although the guy in Reddit was saying, oh, they're going to do a hard sell, and it's going to be insane. And I was like, that sounds awful. I mean, I can deal with it, but it sounds awful. And, it's Reddit. I mean, Reddit's, you got to take it with a grain of salt sometimes. So, still a little bit confused. But then I go to schedule a call with them, and I'm supposed to have the call, and they don't pick up. And I email them, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, this guy had to go. And then they reschedule the call, and then we reschedule it again. So I'm already like, these guys are a little flaky. And then, actually, we didn't even have the third schedule at the scheduled time. Then I ended up calling a little early, and I happened to actually be free. I mean, I actually wasn't free right at that moment, but I was like, look, I can be ready in 10 minutes. And then, so we finally have the call. I actually have some footage of that. So here's me on the call visually. I didn't record the call because you're really not supposed to do that, but I can certainly record myself while I'm having the call. And it actually went a lot better than I expected in terms of the guy was fairly nice and pretty straightforward. So we explained that Kiwi Tech is both a VC firm and a development shop. They have a VC arm, which they actually said that does much later stage, like Series A or late seed, which means several hundred to 100,000 to $1 million, to people already getting revenue. And then with people like me, they do a thing where instead of just me paying for development, they would reduce the development fee by taking equity in my company if I needed development, which I didn't. But so it's basically like instead of you just paying for development, you can give them some equity in exchange. That's actually not a bad idea. It's not something I happen to need. I happen to have my own development resources, me. But if somebody needs development, instead of just having to pay the whole thing, you can pay them also in equity. And it also probably helps there because from what I've heard about outsourcing, a lot of them are very exact. Like a lot of times you have to be really tight specs and tell them exactly what to do, and they'll just do it exactly to the contract. Whereas if they actually have skin in the game, maybe they actually really want you to succeed. So, it becomes more of a working partnership. So I'm like, that makes sense. Like, but like, all right, Kiwi Tech, meet me at the other camera. Why didn't you just tell me that in the first place on the very first call? And like, I have to like get all paranoid and weird. I mean, it's just like you could have said, this is our model. This is what we do. We do development in exchange for equity. It's not that complicated. And like, I wouldn't have wasted their time. They wouldn't have wasted my time. Yeah, I mean, actually, it was funny. Like, I was talking to the guy, and as soon as I mentioned that I had just been coding, he was like, oh, I guess this isn't going to work out. And I mean, the poor guy, I'm sure they have like a whole team of just like, boiler room. They're on the phone all day, screwing around on LinkedIn, fighting some people. And I could see why they thought I would be good because, yeah, I'm not a developer. I was a designer, or I still am a designer, but yeah, and don't have development experience. So maybe I did need somebody to build this, but yeah. I think the lesson here is if you're meeting with somebody or if you're trying to reach out to somebody or saying something, tell them what you're all about. Tell them what you need, what you would like from them, what you need. And I really don't mind getting like a cold call or cold email. And I've cold called and cold emailed people before and gotten pretty responsive, but be direct. Tell them what you need. Don't like beat around the bush or be like, can I pick your brain or can we get for a meeting or whatever? Just no, like, and things may change. I mean, it may go beyond what you specifically ask for, but like just have something in mind and ask for it. So the TLDR version of this whole video is Kiwi Tech exchanges development for equity, at least partially. And if you're going to contact somebody, be clear and direct about what you're asking. So yeah, hopefully you guys found that useful. Great, and I will talk to all you all. I will talk to all you all later. Bye-bye.